My name is Najha. I am a motivational coach, a student, and a business owner, and I have directly suffered from depression. Growing up, I was always kind of different than everyone else that was around me. I have a lot of brothers and sisters, I have a lot of cousins, and everyone thought that I should fit into a certain role just because I am a female. So when I wanted to play with my brothers outside, I was told not to play with my brothers outside, that I had to stay inside and play with dolls. So I played with the dolls. I broke the heads off the Ken dolls and I had a good time. But it was something about me fitting into this stereotypical role of playing with dolls and getting my nails done and everything else that didn't make me happy. So I think that when I got into middle school, I started learning more about myself, and I just started getting more comfortable with who I was as a person. And I think I met a girl, her name was, I don't remember her name, but I met a girl and she was just really open with who she was. And she just was like, hey, like, I'm gothic and I really like to be gothic. And I wasn't gothic, but something about her kind of drew me to her. Like, I was like, oh, she's sure about who she is, so I'm gonna hang out with her. So I hung out with her, and I think for a minute I started listening to the music. I just got into this whole role, and I'm like, wait, that's not the role that I'm trying to play. So I think in high school, like, I met another girl, and she was just like, I got into this whole world of all gay people, and I had gay people around me my whole life. And my cousin was gay, and my other cousin was gay, and some people I knew, but it was different than being around peers who were going through like similar situations that I went through. So I think that it was in high school where I started really figuring out, like, okay, something's a little different about me. Like, I don't think that I really like the guys the way that I do like the guys. I think that I like the girls a little bit more than I like the guys. And not like I like hanging out with girls. I don't want to play with the dolls with the girls. I want to chill with her, and yeah. So I met a girl named Ty, and she was really cool. Like, she was in a group home, and she was just like really comfortable who she was, and she just told me, like, you don't like guys. And I'm like, what do you mean I don't like guys? I definitely like guys. She's like, you don't like guys. So after a minute, like, me and her started hanging out, and I started to realize, like, dang, I really don't like guys. But part of me was like trying to make my mom happy and make like my family happy, and just like at the time one of my older cousins had came out and she told the whole family she liked the girl, and like she was being disowned and stuff like that made me go back into like a corner, like I don't want to do that. So I started dating a whole lot of guys. Like, I was just talking to them every month. I was just talking to guys, and I was in high school, so it wasn't like sexual or anything, but it was just like, okay, cool, like, all right, yeah, I'll talk to you, and then the next month I'll talk to you. And they were guys at different schools, so I didn't even have to worry about really seeing them. It was just like, you go to digital and you go to, I don't know, Emerson or something, I'm just gonna talk to you. But after a minute, I met this really cool guy, and I think it really broke my heart, because like, we were in a relationship and he lived, I think, out PG County. He used to order me food and be like, hey, I got you something to eat, the delivery guy's gonna be there soon. And after a minute, I felt bad, because he was like he was my friend. Like, I thought of him more like a brother. So I was like, okay, cool. And after a minute, I just had to tell him, like, listen, I cried. Like, I cried so bad, because I was really going through a stage in my life where it was like, who am I? Like, do I want to hurt anybody? Or am I trying to upset my mom? Or am I trying to upset people? And I think that after a second, I was like, okay, at this point, I just don't care. So I told him I didn't want to be in a relationship with him anymore. And then after that, I went to school, and I'm like, I'm just being myself. I'm hanging out with the girl a little bit more, but not like that. We were just friends. And I think that one of my friends came up to me, and she was a really close friend. And I think this is when everything started. And she said to me, like, hey, do you like girls? And I was like, no. And she was like, oh, good, because if you did, I wouldn't be able to hang out with you anymore. And after that, I was like, wait. And I didn't think about it. Like, something told me to say no. Like, just that inner person told me to say no. But really, I wanted to scream yes. But the fact that she told me that she couldn't be my friend anymore. So I went home and I told my mom, like, she said she wouldn't be my friend anymore. My mother's like, well, do you like girls? And then she just looked at me. And I was like, once again, there's that lie, like, no. no, I don't like girls. She's like, oh, okay, cool. And then I think like a week later, she messaged me like on Facebook, IM or something. Was like, hey, do you still think you like girls? And I just said no. She's like, okay, cool. And I think after that, like, everything just kind of went downhill. Because I wanted to be who I wanted to be. And I could be. Like, I had certain friends. I think I went up to some of my friends and was like, okay, I have something to tell you. And I was crying. Like, I was really depressed. I was really sad. Because I didn't think that anybody would accept me. Because one girl told me no, that she couldn't be friends with me anymore. My mom was like, no. So I think I started crying. And they all just looked at me and bust out laughing. Like, I'm like, why y'all laughing? Like, tears are coming down my face. And I'm literally like, why y'all laughing? They're like, everybody knew you were gay. This is not a secret. So I think after that, I was just like, okay. So I walked around school and I'm like, I didn't know. I'm in this world. I play basketball and everybody, like, all girls like girls in basketball. Trust me. So, you know, it's like, okay, it's normal. It's normal. But when I went home, I couldn't say anything. Like, my mom and I really got to a point where we couldn't even talk about it. Like, we didn't speak about it. She was upset and she would say things to me. And I don't think that she meant it in a malicious way, like looking back, but just the way that our relationship kind of did a downward spiral definitely took a toll on me. So I think that maybe in 10th grade, I had like secret girlfriends, and my mom found out about one of them. And, well, one. She found out about one, and she's like, sit down. And the girl and I, we were cute. We had like a little book, and we wrote stuff in it. And my mom found a book under my bed. She went off. Like, she was upset. It got so bad that, like, I moved in with my aunt all the way across town. So at this point, I'm taking like 3 buses to get to school because I didn't want to transfer schools. But I was living off of Bel Air Road going to Pikesville. So, and I went through stuff. Like, a guy tried to attack me on a bus stop one morning. I used to be outside the school before the school opened, sleep on the ground just so I'm not late to school, so they wouldn't figure out that I'm not living at home, so I can still keep going on with my daily life. And I think times like that was like really rough for me. Like, I'm trying to figure out, why can't I be accepted? Like, what am I doing that's so bad? Like, what does it matter? I'm still me. I'm still getting good grades in school. I'm still like partying. Everybody still thinks I'm cool, but my home life was like a wreck. And I think I actually got tricked into coming back home. So I got tricked, and my mom was like, you gotta come clean your fish tank. I'm like, all right, clean my fish tank. Feed your dog. Okay, feed my dog. Like, all right. And then I thought I was leaving, and in fact, I wasn't leaving. Like, she wanted me back home. She just told me like, hey, so we're not gonna talk about it. It's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell type situation, which put me back in a more of like a downward spiral. Because at my aunt's house, my aunt was just so open, and she can talk and I can talk, and I had a girlfriend at the time, a new girlfriend, and her parents were like, you can come move in with us. So I'm like, why is it like everybody can be so accepting except for my mom? Like, and everybody, my family were in shock. I had cousins come to me like, we knew. Everybody knew. You didn't want to do anything. You were outside. You didn't want to be inside. I'm like, well, I mean, you can't be outside because I'm gay. I can't stay outside. Like, what does that mean? I don't know. But I think that it wasn't until my junior year of high school that everything kind of started looking a little bit better for me. That's about like a year and a half later. And my mom was just like, no, I'm sorry, my dad, he took me to the movies, and he asked me, he was like, so, like, do you really like girls? And I was like, yeah, I do really like girls. And he's like, well, I'm gonna love you regardless. Like, I'll be there. Like, and then he just gave me a hug. And from that point on, I think that in my family household, I felt a little bit better. Like, granted, my mom never said that to me, but like my dad did, like my stepdad did. And that was a big moment for me. So I think that after meeting my mom, I couldn't talk to her. I couldn't, but it was like certain things. Like, she was starting to change. She used to try to hook me up with the Indian guys at 7-Eleven. And like just different people. And everybody I brought around like, oh, do you like him? I'm like, no, I don't like any of them. Like, I'm not, okay, sure. Yeah, I like him. And I didn't want to go back into that down spiral, so we just stopped talking about it. Like, sexuality was off the table, which was hard because I was going through like high school stuff. Like, I was breaking up with my girlfriend, and I was just going through different things, and I couldn't talk. So I used to cry. Like, I used to just be by myself and just sit and try to figure out like, okay, what next? And some days I really felt like I had nobody. Like, I used to talk to my grandmother who's like deceased, and that was my only way out because I couldn't really talk to my friends about it. They thought I was being dramatic. Like, everything with me is dramatic. It is, but I was just like, I don't know, like I can't talk to anybody, so what am I supposed to do? So I would just sit and cry. And I thought about like different things. I think I googled one time like how many pills it take to kill yourself, like Tylenols or something. And I realized like two things in life. Like, number one, thoughts like that are very selfish, because I know like if I ever left this earth, there's so many people that look up to me, there's so many people that need me, there's so many people that like look and call me every day. And I know that if anything was to ever happen to me, it was something that I did to myself, like I wouldn't be okay with that. Like, just in itself, I know that's very selfish of me. Like my mom, my family, everybody wouldn't be okay. And I think after that, I just stopped thinking about it. After a minute, stopped caring. I moved out the house and I just started dressing how I wanted to dress. Like, I was no longer forced to like wear these clothes, like not dresses and things, but I couldn't dress a certain way, I couldn't talk a certain way. I moved out and all of a sudden it's my money, I'm buying the clothes I want to buy, and I'm chilling, I'm doing what I want to do. And I think I was like 18 when I moved out, and I've been living my life ever since. My mom and I, we got like much better, because I was able to learn how to talk and just accept the fact that I'm not changing for anybody. Like, I am who I am. I'm an outstanding person. Like, I'm doing big things in my life. I care a lot. Everything that my mother taught me, I just show her, like, I am who you raised me to be. I just like girls. So it's no difference. But I realized, like, growing up, and that's what made me become a mentor, is like, for some reason, that is a big deal. And I mean, your preference is your preference. Like, the way you feel is the way you feel. But I just don't think in judging anyone, no matter what your situation is, like whether you're gay, you're straight, whether, I don't know, religious, like you are atheist or Muslim, I don't know. But either way, I just never felt like anyone was different. I felt like we're all the same. So as long as you're a good person to me, I'm a good person to you. And even if you're not a good person to me, I'm still probably a good person to you, just with a little temper. I go through these spirals where I don't know how to release like my feelings and everything. I think that I always got so used to keeping it all in that over time, that's my coping mechanism. So instead of like getting upset, I just get quiet. Or instead of like showing off that I'm hurt about something, I just get quiet, I just stay to myself. But I'm learning, like I just reached out to a therapist, and I'm about to go to therapy, because it's not healthy the way that I go about things sometimes. And it puts me in a dark stage. Like, I don't smoke or like do drugs or anything like that. So I find that I just stay out the house. I'm just outside, like, but I don't want to be like that. Like, I'll stay to myself and I just will walk through the house and not speak to anyone. Or I won't answer my phone for days. And people are like, hey, I called you. And I'm like, I know, I saw. Like, it's not healthy. So my way is I'm talking to someone, and I just found a new outlet. Like, I got a journal and I just started writing down like my thoughts and everything about how I feel about certain things. And sometimes it's easier to write stuff down than it is to like physically talk to somebody, because nobody ever understands the way you feel about a situation. Even if they've gone through it, everyone's like situation is a little different. So sometimes, you know, I write things down, I'm just like, okay, that makes sense. Or sometimes I'm like, Najha, that makes no sense at all. Like, you just wrote down garbage and you know that's garbage, so get it together. But I think that I found out there was this exercise that I did, and it basically went through like a whole guidance thing. And it was like, what do you know about yourself? It's called the Johari window. And it was like, what is your known self? So like things that I know about myself, the unknown, like things that people don't know about me. The hidden is like things that I'm hiding from myself that people can see that I can't see. And then that leads up to this whole transformation moment. At the end of the journey, you're supposed to figure out like things that you can work on, like just things that you no longer have to like hide from yourself, no longer have to hide from the world. Just be yourself. And sometimes yourself there's a lot of positive things in yourself, and sometimes there's some things that you're like, I can change. But if you can see that in that exercise, I did that completely by myself. Like, you don't need anyone to do the exercise. You just need yourself and a piece of paper and a pen. And I'm just sitting there writing. I'm like, wow, okay, I am a good person. Or, okay, yeah, no, you need to work on that. Like, that's not gonna work. So I don't know. And I just find like comedy is like my way out. Like, I laugh about everything. I literally can put a smile on anybody's face, because I'm a good person. Like, I'm a happy person. So why not smile? Like, why not laugh? Even if I feel like crying, like even if I'm going through some things, I'll still put a smile on my face. Like, I got good teeth, so that's what I do. One positive way that I deal with things is to kind of escape besides writing and just laughing is I like to coach. Like, I love coaching basketball. Like, I love my boys, and just seeing a smile on their face definitely makes me feel like nothing else matters in my world. And some people look at it like it's a bad coping mechanism, but sometimes it's good to take yourself out of that moment and just try to enjoy everything else that's going on around you. Like, I love seeing them, and I'm making them run, and for me, that's fun. I'm like, okay, blow my whistle, listen to me. And I think that another thing I do is I surround myself around family. Like, I have a lot of friends, but I have a lot more family, and like, my family means the world to me. Like, just chilling like with my cousins, or you know, we all just get around and laugh about good times that we did, or hanging out and spending time with, like, my goddaughter. I love her, so I just, you know, like, seeing a smile on her face just makes everything better. So it's good to surround yourself around people. Something that I definitely can stress to everyone that's going through kind of similar situation with me, like dealing with your sexuality and everything else, just always to be yourself. Stay true to who you are. Don't allow anyone to kind of conform you into a box or try to make you fit into what this stereotype is supposed to be. Like, as a young lady, you're supposed to, or as a young man, you're supposed to. When in fact, that God only put you on this earth to be a good person. So as a young lady, you're supposed to be a good person. As a young man, you're supposed to be a good person. I would never tell someone to conform to those standards, because it's not, you're never going to be happy. There's no happiness that can ever be seen in trying to be something that you're not. Also, keep your voice. That's like the most powerful thing that a person has, is their voice. If you stay silent, or if you are afraid to speak out about something, then you're conforming, and that's just not the way to be. Like, open up your mouth and let it be known, because as soon as someone hears you use your voice, they can't stop you. You can't stop someone from using their voice. My name is Najha, and you are not alone.